Traders, Brian here with A+ Setups with a video discussing the difference between a framework and setups. And this is an important discussion because this will be the messaging going forward inside of the A+ Setups community. It's important to understand that our setups are our setups and that a framework is an important component of your trade plan to be able to use in conjunction with your setups. So let's go ahead and start, and hopefully you'll understand what I'm talking about as we move through this video. All right, here's the disclaimer. Please read this. Now let's get started into the meat of the video, and it's frameworks and setups. It's the interlocking relationship that we want to talk about. Now, the term framework can mean different things to different traders, but here at A+ Setups, we're focused on the intraday structure for our scalping program. And specifically, what we're referring to by framework is a broader price segment that gives context to everything happening inside of it and outside of the structure once it breaks. So within that larger structure, inside of that larger structure, we have what we call microstructure. Now, microstructure is where name setups like the jiggle, reverse mullet, and puncture trade actually form up and play out. Now, our goal is simple. It's to identify when one structure, that framework ends and a new one begins. And if we can recognize that shift early, we can position ourselves ahead of the move or in alignment with the move, which is more is a better way to say that. So typically that first setup inside of a new structure, a new framework, offers the highest probability of opportunity and potential. The key idea is this: only trade setups when a clear overarching structure is present. And we also want to make sure that every trade we take is aligned with that structure. Now, this will help prevent getting chopped up by taking longs and shorts back to back in a directionless market. Think of it this way: framework and the setups are separate concepts, but they work together. One provides direction and the other provides the trigger. Now, here's some of the types of frameworks that I use. This doesn't have to be what you use, but this is how I frame the market. Number one is simple trend lines and trend line breaks. I use those daily inside the A+ live trading room. Traders that come into the room see me using these trend line breaks all the time. Another one is our triple focus divergence from extremes. I use that one whenever it sets up inside of our A+ setup live trading room. Now, another one, something that's coming soon, is our timing windows. I'm kind of excited about this. We should be unrolling this out, in another 6 weeks or so. Yet another type of framework is extremes in the New York Stock Exchange tick index. Now, this triggers infrequently during strong bull markets, kind of like what we're in right now. But nevertheless, when it fires, I have specific criteria I'm looking for in order to get into trades. Now, these are just some of the frameworks that you can use to incorporate your setups with. So again, I just want to go back. Framework is that overarching structure, and your setups are a component of that in the microstructure. Now, let's actually take a look at some of these examples right now. Now, I'm going to start. This is just so you can see I'm not cherry picking perfect setup examples here. We're just going to work back. Today is Memorial Day, May 25th, 2026, and this is Friday's action, okay, going into the close. So I'm just going to work backwards just to show you some of the concepts that I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to talk about the trend line break first. So what I look for, and this is me, you can use this any way, shape, or form, is I just use simple trend line breaks. And I try to keep the most recent two pivots in play, in between the highs. So as we were moving into this break here, I would have adjusted that and gone right there. So what we can do is we can see this first trend line break. There wasn't a trade setup. You can see I'm over here on the left showing the break, but over on the right is where our software is marking out potential trades. And again, these are, I'm not looking for long trades in this environment here. I'm looking for named setup short trades. So again, we break structure right there, and right here, the first trade setup. Oh, we lost it. Sorry about that. Right here, that's a reverse mullet. I know it's a reverse mullet because I know the setup and because our software plots a dot there saying, hey, it's a reverse mullet to the short side, and there we take it. So that's how I use the trend line break. Now, if you're drawing trend lines and you're just trading inside the structure, there's nothing wrong with that. I personally prefer the breaks and look for that first trade. As we move back, again, we had a trend line break here on this down move, a really deep retracement. That's not one of our A+ setups. But then we get the first pullback right here. This is where I would be interested, and it's a puncture trade. I know it's a puncture trade because it's our deepest pullback, and we printed a triangle right there for an entry. Okay, so that's just two examples right there of how I use trend lines to try to get my one trade in my funded accounts and be done for the day. All right, now another way to use this is what we call our triple focus. We use our triple focus indicator. So for this trade, let me get rid of these trend lines here. Let's just remove those. So for this trade, I'm looking for our indicator to get into an extreme and then provide a divergence. And then I'm looking for one of our setups inside of that structure there. Now, that first trade off of the divergence is what I'm looking at, but I'm going to show you how you can use the triple focus for different framework trades after this forms. Now, there's going to be more discussion, breakout discussions on these two different techniques here, but this is just a trade right here that I can show you. So you see here, we make a higher high. And you can see our triple divergence makes a lower high. And again, I'm only interested in divergences that occur out of extremes like this. So in this scenario here, I'm just looking for the first A+ setup to take to the short side. And guess what? We get it right here. First short setup is what we call the piggle. And it's a beauty, okay? Our software prints, it doesn't repaint, just plots. I'll get it out in a second. Plots the signal right there. And we're just watching for a short trade in this setup. And we get it. Now, the neat thing about the triple focus trade is once you mark this out, you can trade in the framework. This thing's hit an extreme high. So if you wanted to trade to the short side, after it makes an extreme high, you wait until you get the triple focus into the red. Once it probes red and it stays in this range here, you can begin taking short trades. Once it hits, let's go back and go the other way. Again, here's another, we probe. We do not get the divergence, but we probe red. Now we can potentially start looking at short trades. We get one right there, a scalp. It works. But we puncture green. We come back down again. As long as we don't come back up and we stay in here, you can start continue looking at short trades. Again, I'm not going to talk in depth about these two. I'll create separate videos on breakouts for each one of these. Okay, so that is a little bit about frameworks and setups, how we use the two which are separate, but we use them together in order to try to make sense, put context around market's structure. All right, let's go back into, wrap this up here. So, hey, if you're interested in kicking the tires on A-plus setups, go ahead and jump in before we hit the price increase. We're going to start phasing in price increases going forward. Right now it's $29.99. You get everything that we build, we've created, every access to everything. You download it and keep it forever. And then you can cancel your subscription anytime. Coming soon, we're going to launch the flagship model probably by the 1st of June in 26. And then we're going to start phasing in different price increases here. So anyway, that's that piece. And then here's how you can get in contact with us. So there's our website where you can see everything. Here's our where you can sign up, patreon.com, A-plus setup. That's where you can join the club. And then we have other ways to contact us here as well. So anyway, live trading Monday through Friday, training 4 times a week, a minimum of 4 times a week. Usually do 5 sessions or more. And our setups, no ambiguity, no guesswork, and it's just black and white setups. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching the video. Good luck in your trading. Let me know if I can help you out. Have a good one.